thing is gone. No. You see my problem with onworks. So let's assume that you now change some things in the application. You have some new features in the application. And now you want to ensure that those changes are deployed. Rather than having to restart services or restart servers or whatnot, whatever you do to ensure that the new one is launched. I'm talking way before we started looking into the idea of OpenShift and things like that, right? So don't get me wrong. So let's open the terminal back. This is a new server, by the way. So the things we've done before are gone. So what you will now do is once you have changed whatever you have to change, this EAP is designed in such a way that any file that is less than 5 minutes old, I can't remember the time, either 5 minutes or 3 minutes or something less than 10 minutes. Any file that is less than that age will be automatically redeployed. A second use for touch command is that it updates timestamp. Updates timestamp. So if we decide to, let's quickly zoom in here. So it updates the timestamp, right? So let's create file 1 and file 2 now. And as we go on, you'll start picking up some new skills from me. So I won't have to create all of those all together, right? So I can say file 1 space file 1 space file 2. This actually creates the two files at once, right? Oh, I forgot that we are not on the desktop yet. So we have to cd to the desktop. So now I can push up and run this command again. And then you will see the two files there. Let me teach you something even better, just in case you are doing many things at once. Let's assume we want to create file 3 to file 5. So I can say touch file. Those of you that did common factor in secondary school, 3, 4, 5. You run this, it creates those files for you. I know that you must have been wondering that why can't you run it like this? Touch file. You must have been thinking, why can't you run 3, okay, 3, 4, 5. If you run this, it's going to create file 3. It's going to create a file called 4. It's going to create a file called 5. Okay. Now, let us ls-l, right? And then now you can see that all these files were created at 7, some were created at 712, others were created at 713, right? Now, file 1 was created at 712. Let's say this file 1 is your application, right? And then you have made some changes. All you now need to do is just update the timestamp by saying touch file 1. Remember that file 1 was created at 712 before. If I touch it again, it updates the timestamp. If we look at ls now, you can now see that file 1 is now created 714. Go ahead, Ayokunle.
So, what if there's a content in the file before? Will he replace it? Because Is it looking like it's deleting it and replacing it, or is just updating the timestamp?
That's a good question, but it not tell us where you are joining us from, so we can customize your
Oh,
response.
I I actually mentioned it initially. It's from
Yeah,
Yes,
UBA.
now you have to mention it all the time so people can be updated. I want
I can
everybody
hear
to know
you.
that they are working in the same, space. Go ahead,
Oh,
Ayokli.
yeah, I said from UBA.
UBA, good.
IT.
Thank you. Okay, good. So your question is that if it replaces what's inside. No, touching the file, it doesn't touch anything inside the file. It only updates the timestamp. That's all. Olushola, do you want to say something? Okay.
No, please.
All right, good. So it only updates the timestamp. It's a very safe command to run. Okay. Only updates the timestamp. Salim, go ahead.
Okay. From EcoBank, Tanzania.
Yes.
So you said it just updates the timestamp.
Yes.
If you have, I've created a file named the file 1, and
Yeah.
inside I've written like 3 lines. I'm doing configurations. I have 3
Yes.
lines on that file 1.
Yeah.
And I write
Yes.
another command. Instead of writing file 2, I wrote file 1. So
Yeah.
basically will it have the contents of the same, or will it just create another new file named file 1 and replace that old file? You said it replace timestamp. What if it has something inside?
Okay, that's what I just answered, right? So let me say it this way. If we touch a file, touch file 1. If this file was not existing before, it creates the file and ensure that there's nothing inside. Empty
Okay.
file.
Okay.
If you touch file 1, and this file has content inside, it only updates the timestamp.
So it's safe.
It doesn't touch anything inside the file. It only updates the time.
So it's
That's
safe.
all.
The
And with
safest command.
Linux, yeah, it's a very safe command. But then it might not be, it depends on the context, right? If you're working on an environment that is very sensitive and that the age of the files in that directory matter for certain reasons, then you might be up for something else, right? So context matters. There are certain times that we have had a reason to prioritize files or prioritize some applications based on their age. Maybe you're just running a script and, based on the age, you're trying to get some things done or whatnot. You must remember that touching a file is going to, change certain things and put certain files in certain location and certain positions that, you may not want it to be. But, if that's not the case, if it's just general, the file just being there is not an environment that the age of the file matters, then it's a safe command to run. Another reason why we're doing this bootcamp is to help you understand what's going on behind every command, just so that as you run it, you know what's going on. Because I know some of you have been working with Linux before now, but the problem has been that you have learned on the job, right? So your senior colleagues would have told you to see resources, run free. If you run out of resources, run the kill command. Here we're going to break it down and help you understand what's going on in the background, right? So hopefully you're able to get into a full-blown Red Hat Enterprise Linux training. It's really interesting and it takes you to the next level. But let's focus on touch file. So touching file, and the second reason why a touch file is being used, I have explained that. So the both reasons, if you understand, please go ahead and put in a 1 in the chat so that we can proceed. All right. Thank you. So the next thing we want to get into is to play with a few commands. Thank you very much for the feedback. Thank you. Everybody understands. Let's play with a few commands. So we all know what the ls command does. We know what the cd command does. We've addressed that. Cd is just change directory, right? Change directory. So now I want to move to the desktop from here, right? And then I say pwd to see where I am. I see that I'm on Unworks. And then I want to move to the home directory, but to the desktop directory. But before I go to desktop directory, there is something called home directories. And a home directory is your own space, right? Every user has their own home directory. And every user's home directory is here, /home/the user, which will be the username. So if your name is Victoria, your home directory will be /home/Victoria. If your name is Precious, it will be /home/Precious. If your name is Salim, it will be /home/Salim. The only person that has a different home directory is root, and root's home directory is here, /root. And root is the most powerful person on the server. What I've explained now makes sense. I am waiting to see if anybody understands this. If you understand what I've just explained, please put in 1. This can be a bit confusing, but put in 1 if you understand. That means you understand the regular user's home directory and the root home directory.
Sorry, the Victoria and Precious, are they in the user or just separate out from the user? Is it
say that again?
Like after the user, is it /user/Victoria and /user/Precious, or just /home/? You get my point?
Yeah, I've changed this. This makes it clearer. Right? Is it better now?
Okay, no. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, so what you're saying is, let's assume that your username on that server is Umar, right? That means your home directory will be /home/Umar. This username I put here is just a placeholder to replace any name. And that's why I now came to give you exactly what will be Victoria's home directory, exactly what will be Precious's home directory, exactly what will be Umar's home directory. Is it clearer, Umar?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
I said the only person that does not have their home directory like that is root. This is root's home directory. Okay. Now I'm about to take it a bit deeper. I'm about to take it a bit deeper. So please focus on this. This is very important. If you miss this, you're not going to be able to understand certain level of expertise that I will get people to in the next few seconds, right? It's just going to be confusing. Please, if you're doing something, stop and watch now. So let's clear this. Now, let's assume that there is a user called Peter. What will Peter's home directory be? Can anyone tell me? Anyone?
Sorry, can you come again?
Peter's home directory.
Okay, that'll be root /home/Peter.
Yes.
Thank you. So /home/Peter. Now, let me quickly do something so that you guys will understand. So if you look at where we are, if I say PWD and I push enter, you can see that it's giving me the full path to where we are, right? And then you can also see that this description before you type any command, this will be your username, right? So if it's Peter, where do you work, Peter? Yeah, is Peter here? UBA. Okay. So Peter is with UBA. So that means that what you will see here will be peter@uba.com, right? Now, this is a cheat for you to be able to know where you are exactly. So it's not going to give you the full path. It's just going to tell you exactly where you are, which is desktop. Okay? But this is the full path here. So this is just Expo, just a little cheat sheet for you to have an idea where you are. If there are more than one desktop directories scattered in different parts of the server, you can decide to run pwd and it will tell you exactly where you are. Is that clear? If you don't understand that, let me explain again. That's a cheat sheet because from here, you'll be seeing your server in a different way. Okay, let me explain again. So let's recreate this thing here. So this will be Peter. This is what the real server will look like. Peter@ubagroup.com. And then there's a space. Then there's something else here. This thing here is supposed to be the name of the directory that you're currently in. So if Peter is on the desktop, this will show desktop. And then the square bracket closes. And then you will now have this, allowing you to now start running your commands. Is this clear? Which is the same thing that you are seeing here. If this is clear, guys, please put in a 1. It's very crucial that we understand this because we are going deeper. At this point, if you understand this, you are already becoming a Linux expert. Chris, I'm going to explain again. Chris, what firm are you with, Chris? eProcess.
Okay, I work with Equi Electricity, sir.
Equi Electricity. All right. So what I'm saying here is that this prefix before you run any command, which is this part, you have no control over that part. If you are logged in as yourself, what you will be seeing will be chris@ecoelectricity.com. And then the next thing you will see, this part is wherever you are on the server. So if you are in desktop or if you are in downloads or if you are in documents, it will now show documents here. This is just a cheat sheet, a window for you to have an idea where you are. So if you look at the one that we have here, you can see that this is my username. But then it's giving me an idea that, you are on the desktop. Or if I have more than one desktop directory in my server, I can now go ahead and say pwd for you to give me the exact address to where I am. I hope this is clear, Chris. All right, good. Chris is clear now. Now, let us take it a step further. It becomes more interesting. But please don't get carried away. Don't leave me now, please. Follow me so you can understand this. So if I run a CD command, remember I said that if you run a command and you don't give it an argument, it takes the default available argument, right? So if you run a CD command is a change directory command. You are trying to change directory. And now you didn't tell it where you want to go to. It takes you back home. It takes you to your home directory, right? So look at that. If I run CD without that, it takes me to my home directory. And then I run pwd, it shows that I'm in my home directory, /home/onworks. Now, there must be a question in your mind now, based on what I've just done. Please ask. I know that some of you are a little confused, but please ask your question. If there's no question, I will assume that you understand and I will go on.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Albert.
This is Zenith.
Zenith
So
Pension. Welcome.
my question is, if you run CD, no matter your location, your present working directory, it will take you straight to home.
Take you home straight.
Oh, okay.
Takes you home. This is like someone who went to the club and he got drunk. And then you call a taxi. When you call a taxi, you run the command CD. You know, you get into the taxi believes that you will still tell him where you're going. You know, but when you get into the taxi, you pass out, right? Now, you have stopped the taxi to move, but the taxi does not know where you are going. So you have run the CD command without giving it the argument. So normally what the taxi should do is that it won't carry you to where you don't know. No, Benga. The taxi in the same country, I'm not talking in some, you know, there are multiple countries represented here, so I don't want to down talk any country, but in the same country, this taxi driver will take you to the police. The police will search you, find your ID, and then they ensure that you are returned home, either by calling your family member or just ensuring that you get home. So that's what the CD command does. Chris, your hand is up.
Yeah. Good afternoon, colleagues. Chris from Zenith.
Okay.
I have a question. What's the difference between a normal CD and a CD space ... I know two of them take you home, but I want to be sure.
Two of them don't take you home. We'll get there. We'll get there, Chris. Don't worry, we'll get there shortly. All right. So now that everybody is clear around what CD alone does, CD alone takes you home. Okay. So if you are in the office, Precious, and somebody is stressing you in the office, you're getting tired, just run the CD command, you find yourself in your house, you know? But let us move on. Can you now see that earlier I mentioned to you that this desktop here gives you an idea of where you are? But you see, when we went home, you see that thing changed to this tiled character. This character, some people call it tiled, some people call it tilde, right? What this means in Linux, it means that you are at home. It means that the currently logged on user is in his own home directory. And I want to emphasize this. And I want to be very clear, because you're always going to find this in your quests as a Linux engineer. Remember when we were growing up? Olasokomi, how are you? Olasokomi, what firm are you representing? Let's have a chat.
Night
Hello?
concert.
Night
Hello?
concert. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Night concert. Olasukomi, when we were young, remember that we used to, go to each other's houses. Maybe you go to your best friend's house, you go and spend the weekend and whatnot. Even now, you have a best friend. You go to his house, or as a lady, you go to your best friend's house. They tell you one very big lie. They say, feel at home. That's a lie. You can never feel at home. Even if you live in the deepest ghetto, and your best friend lives in the presidential villa, if you go to your best friend's house, yes, it's a good experience, but you will never feel at home, no matter what you do. So they tell you feel at home, but you are checking, let me not go and spoil the remote control. You can never, ever feel at home. There is a particular feeling you get when you come back to your own house. Am I speaking your mind, Olasukomi? Is this true for you as well?
Yeah, that's true. That's correct.
Very correct. Thank you. So no matter how much we are friends now, and no matter how much I help you understand Linux and we become very cool, the day that we're going to have a project with Nige Comsat, and I come to your office and you're telling me, don't worry, feel at home, I'll just smile. But you and I know that I can never feel at home. Now, that feeling that you feel when you are in your own house, while nobody is watching you in your own house, you go to the kitchen, go and get some cereals, and you're on your way back to the living room and you are farting and the fart is smelly and all of that. That's your space. You can't do that anywhere else. Now that I've explained that, let's go back here and show you that this character is depicting that you are in your own space. The currently logged on user is in his own home directory. So that means that as my username here is onworks, right? So if I run pwd now, what will I see? It will be /home/onworks. If there are any questions, please ask me now. I want to get in the chat. Let's take the poll of understanding. Go ahead and put it in the chat, please. Poll of understanding, please. Thank you. Good. It looks like a good number of you understand. Good. So that means that when you look at anybody's command line, without them telling you, you can tell where they are. You can tell who is logged on. Because when you look here, you will see that the username is onworks. Okay. Now, let's dive into something interesting. The cd command that the gentleman mentioned earlier. Let's get into it. Now, this cd command is interesting in the sense that you look at this command, without an argument, it takes you home. If you look at this command, let's say this is A, B, C, D, E. If you are in A and you type CD space B, C, D, E. Can anybody tell me why I did not start with a slash here?
Because
Yeah,
you are already
because you're already in a directory.
you have to use the relative path.
Beautiful, thank you. I'm already in A and I gotta use my relative path. It's good that we are understanding. Now, if I run this command, where will be my new location?
E.
Good. So that means that I will now be in E. So if you look at this command, cd space ... this takes you one step back, because people confuse it with cd space hyphen. cd space ... takes you one step back. That means that while you are here in E, you run cd space ... it will take you to D. While cd hyphen, and I'll tell you a short story, because with these stories, you will remember. So when I was growing up, I grew up in the ghetto, and my grandma made it seem like I spent a lot of time with my grandma, so the Yoruba people averagely believe that the Igbo people that they eat very strong eba. And the eba is very strong, and they don't drink water. So that makes them believe that the average Igbo child is much stronger than the Yoruba counterpart, right? So they will say, Ajokutama Momi. That means that they're referring to the Igbos as people that eat stone and don't drink water. Which, when I grew up, I just realized it's just preference. The texture of the eba does not have to be a problem. Some people like it stronger without it being too pasty. Other people like it soft. But, in the past, there was all of this traits of tribalism. And for those of you that are not Nigerian, when I say eba, that's what you refer to as fufu in Congo and in Tanzania, I think. In Ghana, you already know what eba is, right? Because I know that your own fufu is a little different. So they believe that the average Igbo chap is stronger. So when I'm playing with my friends that were Igbo, my grandma would warn me many times over and over. He would say, and what that means is, don't let them use their strong bones to wound your fleshy body. And, she really messed with my mind by making me think that the average Igbo peer was way stronger than me. So one day something happened. We're playing football, and there was an argument, and a fight was going to ensue between myself and one of my friends that was Igbo. Before I could process anything and escape, because I knew that I was not going to get into a fight with an Igbo chap, before I could process anything and escape, the fight already started. And, because I was really scared and worried that this guy was going to, mess me up, I just decided to put in all my energy just to ensure that the impact I take was, minimal. Doing that was the wrong move because, the gentleman got really hot bad and he had his arm broken. And while, I was being disciplined, my parents disciplined me. You know how it takes a village to train a child. It's not like now that, you tell a Gen Z person, pull up your pants, and they're asking you what's your problem. They were really dealing with me. It was a serious matter in the community. But while they were dealing with me, I was really enjoying something at the back of my mind. Oh, okay, my grandma is wrong. My grandma is wrong, because the strong eba that they eat does not exactly mean that, they're stronger than us. Anyway, that's an interesting story that you will always remember when you remember me explaining CD. So where does CD come in? There's another slang that I started hearing while growing up. They say, Dakpa dabi eba Igbo. And that means that, the average Yoruba person cannot easily ingest the Igbo man's type of eba. So they say you must return it, right? When you eat the eba, you must throw it out because it's not built for you as a non-Igbo person. So dakwada, that dakwada means, return to the sender. Or they say back to sender, those that go to MFM, back to sender. So CD space ... goes back to the previous directory, the directory before the one that you are in. CD space hyphen is entirely different. That one means back to sender. That means wherever you might have been coming from, either you are one directory away, or either you were one directory away, or you were 10 directories away. You go back to where you were coming from. Now, let me share my screen and quickly share something, because this thing has cancelled again. Because these little tips helps you not only look like a professional when you are working, it also helps you save time. So remember that we said CD space A, B, C, D, E. And we said if you were in A and you run this command, it takes you to E. If you run CD space ... it brings you here. If you run CD space hyphen, if you were here initially, you were in A, and you run this command, it brings you to E. If you run CD space hyphen, it takes you back to A. But you see, if you were in D and you move to E, if you run CD space ... it brings you back to D. If you also run CD space hyphen from this E, it brings you back to D. So people confuse it and think that these two do the same thing, but they don't. Let's take our poll of understanding now to see if everyone understands, and then we will move on from here if everyone understands. Okay. Ayokule, please go ahead. You have the floor.
So I'm assuming now that so for some reason I see the A, B, C, D, E, and I'm in E, and then I do CD plus CD ... that will take me to D, right? Now, if I do, when I'm in D now, if I do CD hyphen, it should take me to E because I'm coming from E.
Exactly.
That is correct, right?
Very correct.
Okay.
Very correct. And
so that means
you won't go ahead.
Your
sorry.
That means the previous history you have, like the history before the history.
As long as you remember back to sender, wherever you came from, you are going back there, right? So let me quickly recap for Olasukomi. What I said is that if you are in A and you run this command, it brings you to E, right? If you run CD space ... this takes you one step back. If you run CD with all of this and you go to E, if you run CD space hyphen, it brings you back to where you were coming from. But then if there was, say you were in A, if there was A, B, C, D, E. If you were in E, if you run CD space ... it brings you to D. If you run CD space ... again, it brings you back to E. If you run CD space ... it brings you to D. If you run CD space hyphen, it brings you to E, because that's where you're coming from. CD space ... it takes you one step back. CD space hyphen takes you back to where you were coming from. Benga, go ahead.
All right. So how do we, because for the touch command to create files, so how do we create folders within a folder?
We're getting there now. That's where I'm going to once, now that everybody understands where we were, we're getting there. So now we have created a touch file. Oh my God, we have 10 minutes more. I want to ensure that you get a lot. So if you want to create a directory, let me go to the desktop. And let's ensure that you can see this. Okay. So let's create, say, 5 files here. So touch file. By now, I'm showing off for you guys already know what it is. There's no point explaining this. 5 files on the desktop. To create a directory, you use mkdir. Okay. You run mkdir. You see there is no name. So I have to go ahead and say mkdir dir1. It creates the directory for me, and you can see it here on the desktop, dir1. Okay. Now, I can decide to move some of, if you say ls, you can see the things we have here. You say ls-l, you can see what we have here. So I can decide to move file 1. I can decide to copy file 1 into directory 1. For copying is cp command. Cp, the absolute or relative path to what you want to copy, because it's relative, I can just say file 1. Okay. And then I can move on. Where do I want to paste it? I can say dir1. Okay. If I run this, if I ls dir1, I can see that my file 1 is there. Now you can see now that I don't have to be in dir1 to ls it, right? All I needed to do is have the path, right? And this could have been ls, the full path, if I wanted to, ls/home/onworks/desktop/dir1. Enter. The same thing. One is just faster than the other. Okay. Now, let me quickly also show you how to cut and paste, right? Say, for example, I want to remove file 2 from the desktop and move it to dir1. So I use the mv command. So I say mv file 2 because I'm currently there. And then I say space dir1. Oh no. dir1. Keep your eye on this file. You will see that it will move now, right? If I run enter, it moves it. By the time I say ls space dir1, it's in there. I can decide to say ls space -l dir1. You see, now we are running commands and you guys are already following. Now you understand. So now you understand the cp command, you understand the mv command. Let us take it a little further and say, for example, I'm trying to move file 3. File 3, okay, let's say I want to rename file 3, right? Rename file 3, to rename in Linux is like we're cutting and pasting. So it's like we're going to cut it. While it's in the air, rename it and then paste it back. That's what renaming is like. So I can say mv space file 3 space new file. So what this is doing is I am renaming file 3 as new file, still in the same location, right? Look at it, it's going to change. Can you see it? It has changed to new file. So that's how you rename. It's like you cut it, rename it in the air, and paste it back. I can decide to cut, which one is here at the top? File 5. I can decide to cut file 5, paste it in dir1, and in the process, rename it as well. So I can say mv space file 5, and then I can say dir1 slash, I can now say file test. If I push enter, this file here is going to go missing and then move to dir1. If I ls dir1, you will see now that file test is inside dir1. If I ls my desktop here, you can see that the directories are in blue while the files are in black. If you are using a black command line, the directories will be in blue, the files will be in white. If I say ls space -l, please look at this. You can see that while all of these jargons we will explain tomorrow, you can see that the one that is a directory started with a D here. Started with a D, meaning that it is saying that this one is a directory. So far, if you don't understand me, please, this is the time. And let me take an understanding poll in the chat. Please go ahead and put it in the poll if you understand what I've said so far. Peter, you are not lost, don't worry. I just rushed. Peter, tell me exactly what part you're struggling with so I can quickly get over it.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Peter also.
The last
What
part,
firm are you representing?
Okay, I'm from FCMB.
FCMB, good.
So the last part before the host logged me out was when you made reference of how to create files using the touch command. That is touch file, then open bracket, the curly bracket 3 and 345. That was the last part where the host logged me out, and since then I've been trying, and I've been chatting.
Sorry.
Units on
Sorry.
side, and I've not been...
The host, though, usually we're trying to ensure that this environment is very, very secure and it's exclusive to your firms that are registered. We don't want just anyone here. So what some people are doing is they're sharing the links with some of their people, and we're having funny people come in. So usually once our administrators are chatting you up just to be able to identify you, and you don't respond, they just tend to take you out. And once they take you out, it's hard to join back from the same device, right? So next time, just join from another device. I'm sorry. Please chat us up on Slack, and we will ensure that the recording is provided to you, because we've gone a little
I've been
further.
doing that, but nobody was responding, not until just a few minutes ago that she responded.
No, don't worry. I'm sorry about that. From now, everybody can hear me that if you chat us up on Slack and nobody responds within an hour, for every hour that they don't respond, you get 10K. And that 10K will be pulled out of some people's salaries. So with that, you can be sure that there will be responses. Okay. That said, this is where we have come to. Joy and Benjamin. Benjamin, can you tell me exactly where you're struggling with? And Joy, you can type it in the chat if you want, or you can just explain.
Hello?
Yes, Benjamin. Where are you joining us from?
I'm a private candidate referred from Red Hat SA.
All right, yeah, good. I remember. Go ahead.
Okay. I was lost by the mkdir part where you make the directory.
Yeah, mkdir is just a command that we use in creating directories. Nothing more to this. If you say mkdir and you say Benjamin, it's going to create a directory called Benjamin. That's all. Nothing to it. Okay. Joy, let me look at yours. For those that want the video, please ensure that you just reach out on Slack and you will get it. From the new file aspects, when you say, oh, so new file. So what I said, that's when I was trying to change the name. Let's quickly do that again. Let's quickly do that again. So if you look at on the desktop, if we say ls here, we can see that there are some files here. There's file 1, file 4, and then new file. Let's try to change the name. We want to rename file 1. That's all we're doing. So to rename, we use MV. MV is like you're moving, right? It's like you copy the thing, you cut it out, and before you paste it back, you have renamed it in the air, right? So if I say MV file 1, I'm mentioning that it's file 1 that I want to change the name of. And the new name will now be file joy. So if I run that now, you will see that graphically the file 1 is here. We're just seeing it from the command line, right? If I run it like that, you will see that file 1 has changed to file joy. And then if you come here and say ls, you will see that it is now file joy. We're just renaming, nothing serious here. That's all. You can also copy and paste, and in the air, while you are copying, you can rename it as well. So I can say cp file joy, and then I can say paste it in directory 1 as joy file. So you are copying the file, but also renaming in the process. So if I ls directory 1, you will see that here it is joy file, here it is file joy. Okay, so I believe that we are well getting towards the end. Let me say that tomorrow will be deep. We would ensure that we do a lot of interesting things tomorrow. By now, I believe that you're comfortable on the command line so far. And tomorrow, I will ensure that someone from Red Hat joins us. Tomorrow also, we will be having a little challenge, a little quiz, just interesting quiz to help you understand things better. And that's how we'll be picking those that will be picking up something from us that will be in the thousands of dollars. Now, I want to also ask for reviews today to see how it has been for you so far, and also see if there's any feedback, anything else that you think we can do better. Our standard here is that although this is a free bootcamp, the standard is that you will never be able to find anything as amazing as this, even if you paid for it. And that puts a lot of pressure on us to ensure that the quality is top-notch. And also the patience that we have to deploy to ensure that things are done properly. So please, I would love to get feedback from you. This is the only way we can show Red Hat that the work we're doing is amazing, and to hear from you directly. And we're also hopeful that you will take this to the farthest by coming out for a formal training. So please, I'd like feedback. Chris, you want to go first? Your name, your firm you're representing, and your feedback. How has this training been for you?
Okay, good afternoon once again from Equal Electricity. And well, I'm very impressed with what I've been getting. Before yesterday, I was a novice, a beginner, and you understand me, and I'm not at that level again. And I plan on doing great things with Red Hat. I plan on doing great things with Red Hat and Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much, Chris. And I hope that if you do great things with Red Hat Linux, maybe that will bring us more constant power. Thank you. If you have a question, Precious, you can ask in the chat or on Slack, and I can ensure that somebody responds to you immediately. Victoria, we would prefer to hear from you if you can speak up. That would be nice. If you can actually speak up, that's the only way we can get feedback on here.
Okay, Dayo, I think I want to ask my question here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon. So first off, I was also removed from the meeting and I've not been added back to my initial device. Then to my question, I understood where you did the renaming of a file with the mv command, right? But
Yes.
where you renamed the file and moved it to the directory, so you did mv, the initial file name, the directory where you wanted it, and the new name, right?
Yes.
So I want to ask, why wasn't it mv cut the file, the old name, the new name, and the directory where you want it?
Because
Why is it
yes,
not being
because
possible?
that's other part of the command where we are putting the new name. You know, the new name, you cannot detach it from, you are putting it in with the address. Do you understand? So it's like when we are renaming you, Precious, you are from UBA. To track you, we can just say, rename her from say Joy to /UBA/ application support / Precious, rather than putting Precious first and then the path. It doesn't work. The path is actually making sure that you are the one and without mistakes, right? So you're either putting the absolute path or the relative path. If you do it that way, you're going to get an error. I hope that's clear.
I know.
Thank you. Victoria, speak to us now. You don't want to tell, you don't want to come off mute. Victoria. Okay. Let's get feedback from someone else. Anyone else? You just please come off mute and give us some feedback, please. I just want 3 of them.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I liked this session because
Sir, please introduce
I could
yourself
see.
first. Yes.
Yeah, my name is Olumide Peregrino
What from?
from FRS.
Okay.
FRS. Yeah, I'm seeing Linux in GUI. The Linux I know is in what is the command line, the black command line screen. You're just typing codes and you can't really see what's going on. But this one, based on the fact that I can see what's going on, how the file is created, how the direction the folder is created, at least I can put a picture to it. But this particular command I'm typing, this is what's going on at the background. So it's actually a good machine to practice and learn properly, so you can master it very well. Because most Linux environments, you don't even see that GUI display. It's just a black screen and you're typing. So you have to actually imagine what the thing is doing at the background.
Exactly.
Yeah, thanks.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that feedback. Just to jump on that, you are just using Linux from different interfaces, right? So what we have done today is just to ensure that it's not so scary, and it's the same thing that you're doing. Yes, you are imagining what's going on in the background, and that's why you're taking this training to know exactly what's going on in the background. I want to appreciate Victoria's feedback in the chat. She says today is also impactful. Please go ahead, Ayokunle, introduce yourself, from where you're joining us from, and your feedback.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Dayo, for today's session. It's quite impactful, right? And yes, like I said, from UVA, right? So So I don't know if this is probably the right place to ask, but I will just go ahead. Right. So I want to ask, from this bootcamp, let me just say, can we sit for a certification exam after your class, or you feel we're still gonna need some extra approach before we can? Just I'm being futuristic now. Let me just assume I completed your class, diligently followed every instruction you laid down. Can I boldly say I would pass the exam without maybe an extra class that will be dedicated for maybe for me to prepare for an exam or something? I believe you understand my question.
Yes. Thank you very much for that. What we've taken in this class is nothing compared to what you need for the certification. And what we're doing in the bootcamp is just to let you know that it's a comfortable environment. It's not that scary like you think it is. So what you're doing in this bootcamp is probably less than around 10% of what you need to do to be able to get started on the certification. For many of you, we already have an ongoing conversation for a training. UBA, for example, there's an ongoing conversation for a training, but there are some bureaucratic bottlenecks that are in the way. Hopefully, you can ask questions internally and ensure that it happens. But we're doing less than 10% in here for the whole 3 days, right? But what that helps you with is when you get into a formal training, your confidence is there and you will really enjoy it, especially if the training is done in a way that I'm doing it, taking the time with you, bringing in analogies, making it fun, and not just throwing professional jargons and commands at you. Those things just make you sleepy, right? So that's the stand of things. What you have learned here is in no way, shape, or form enough to try the exams. Thanks. Bengaido.
All right. Thank you very much, as always, Mr. Dayo. Remember, the first question I asked was, can we make the interface black? So, but then I tried looking for a way to make it so, but it wasn't. Because normally I kind of enjoy those black interfaces, yeah, because it's kind of cool. Yeah. So, this session today was very, very, very insightful because I took lots of notes down. People literally saw me passing. They said, this guy say go collect Agba for webinar and this and that. So thank you very much for today. It's very, very insightful. And because I know that along the line I would have to have a knowledge of Linux in because of cybersecurity for offensive security sake. So I thank God for this opportunity to have the foundation knowledge. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Benga. What I would say is for the rest of you that have colleagues in cybersecurity, please refer them to the bootcamp. There's no way you make a way in cybersecurity without a strong knowledge of Linux, because most of the tools that you're using are Linux-based tools, right? So please feel free to share the link for the bootcamp with them. They only need to be able to register with their formal, with their corporate email addresses. Thank you very much, and thank you. Let us take reviews from outside Nigeria, right? Can someone from Ghana or Tanzania please just come off mute and let us know how this session has been for you, just so that we can get some feedback as well and know how to make this work for you going forward. I know there's Salim here. Salim, you and your colleagues from Ghana, please speak up.
They are my colleagues.
No, go ahead. Let's get your feedback.
I thought I was alone in EcoBank.
No, you're not alone in EcoBank. No, EcoBank
great.
is very wide, right? So I have some of your colleagues that are joining in from other parts of Africa. But go ahead, Salim. Let us hear your feedback from Tanzania. Introduce yourself.
My name is Salim Mwinchande from EcoBank Tanzania. Feedback from on this platform. Actually, I like it. It's nice because I've never been to a bootcamp before, so this is nice. It's very practical and the engagement is nice. I really like it.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Like one-to-one. It's like one-to-one despite being over 30 people.
Sure. Beautiful. Thank you very much for the feedback. I think that today we've done well with the engagement. Tomorrow, please come through with your engagement game. We're also going to take a little quiz tomorrow. There's no pass, no fail. It's just, people just engaging and having a good time.